Never before has humanity faced the obstacles that lie before us today. Threats to our health, our environment, and a political landscape impacting the future of global citizens everywhere. One community has emerged, comprising thought leaders from around the globe, focused on positive change and lasting impact. Their cause spans disease prevention, medical innovation, space exploration, gender equality, and humanitarian efforts. Who will lead this innovative community of changemakers? Who will bring their vision to life, shepherding its success and ultimate mission?
You only have to walk into his office and see the photo of his father in the desert with the founders of the State of Israel to understand that this is a child of pioneers.
He's always putting others before himself. He puts his country first, and he's very focused on making the lives of everyone better.
He impressed me from first meeting. He is deep, he is subtle, he knows to listen, and he's knowledgeable.
Ido Aharoni has held distinguished positions across a myriad of disciplines. Perhaps his greatest achievement was branding the country of Israel, a staggering achievement that required equal parts innovative vision and communicative persuasion. Now, the opportunity to apply his hard-earned wisdom and multifaceted leadership is at hand, to seize this unique time in history and guide an organization poised to bring tangible solutions with lasting results. The question is, will you be a witness or an active citizen of change?
It was a very ambitious goal. And when we broached the idea in 2009, I had no idea that we will be here in 2020 with so many achievements and so many accomplishments. So what was the vehicle? The vehicle was to take 100 people that are extremely successful in their fields and ask them to articulate their vision for the future. And based on that collective vision of our time, to try and inspire projects, ideas, initiatives that promote goodness in all areas of life, and especially now post-COVID-19, in areas that need help, in areas of high demand, in area of dire need, and unfortunately there are many of them. So Genius 100 is inspired by Einstein, but it aims to inspire others through the story of Albert Einstein. Many people mistaken the title Genius 100 as if the 100 people, the visionaries, are geniuses. No, the genius is Albert Einstein. And we are leveraging on the fame, the glory, the excellence, the brilliance of the 100 visionaries and the people, the founders that supported the initiative from day one. Many of them are on the call right now. We are working together with them to make things happen. Obviously, COVID-19 exposed systemic deficiencies and global weaknesses in healthcare, in the environment, in human behavior, and we believe that Genius 100 as a community, as a do tank, as a think tank, as a policy group, as a group of doers, certainly can make a contribution. It's hard to believe, but it's been 5 years since we hit the ground running. And what I would like to do with you is tell you a little bit about the community, about the achievements, all the things that were done that I will be sharing with you are done with minimal staff and with a shoestring budget. In terms of the community, it includes luminaries from all walks of life, winners of many awards. We have, for example, several Nobel laureates, people that received the Order of Canada, the Order of the British Empire, Academy Award winners, Tony winners, Grammy, Emmy, and so on. We have 37 nationalities represented among our visionaries and our funders and our supporters, speaking tens of languages. We held 25 physical events and countless online events in 7 countries and 4 continents. The countries are Canada, US, Holland, Italy, Israel, Monaco, and England. We touched the lives physically of over 10,000 people that actually attended our events in person, and over 25 million people that were impacted virtually. Our social media engagement produced over 100 million impressions in less than 5 years. And I can tell you, as someone whose work is in the realm of public diplomacy for many, many years, it takes a lot of money and a lot of people to produce that kind of impact. We estimate the impact in the tens of millions in terms of what we were able to do. In terms of the projects themselves, what is it that this community actually did? So we started with a very compelling project called Who Will Be the Next Einstein. It was a global competition that reached over 1.2 billion impressions, 5,000 entries from all over the world. We then started with Space for the Next Einstein, 19 schools in South Africa, 10,000 students in collaboration with the European Space Agency. We then went on to produce a unique collaboration with NASA, which resulted in the production of the first ever 3D book printed in space. The collaboration with NASA was also announced on NASDAQ, which was a major media event. We created a time capsule landing on the moon thanks to the help of philanthropist Tsili Charney, who's on the call right now. Together with us, we are in the process of producing a couple of media projects. One of them was already produced by Shuki Levy, musician, who's on the call. His wife, Tori Avey, is one of the founders. Shuki is a visionary. He produced the Speed of Light World Choir, involving 1,000 children singing from 3 different continents. If this is not inspiration, what is inspiration? And all of that was done with very little money. As you can see here, the money raised and the money committed, the services that were given to us in kind, we estimate the whole thing in several millions, but I can tell you it's quite remarkable what this community was able to achieve in 5 years with so very little money and with such a small staff. The shared beliefs of the organization. As you know, when Albert Einstein achieved his amazing scientific breakthroughs, he had no budget and he had no organization. All he had was his imagination. So one of the main beliefs of the G100 community is that imagination is unlimited and creativity changes the world. Try to remember how imaginative we were when we were children. Children have unrestricted kind of imagination. They fantasize, and they indeed learn to dream when they were very young. Second belief is that partnership is stronger than any individual effort. So therefore, everything that we do is through partnerships, through, again, the attempts to leverage on the connections, the access, the inspiration of others as well. And then the third belief is caring. Caring for others means impactful change locally and globally. Everything that we do is fueled and motivated by a strong sense of humanity. The core values of the community, we share the knowledge that we know, we collaborate at all times, we embrace diversity, and we believe that there is equality and opportunity. We call it balance. Our mission: to support humanitarian and environmental initiatives within the G100 community through funding and partnerships. Our vision is to bring together accomplished, compassionate minds to reimagine the future and implement initiatives that improve our world. And our goal, simply put, is to expedite solutions within the G100 community initiatives. It is a curated community. You cannot invite yourself to the community. You have to be invited by one of the members, one of the founders, one of the visionaries, or one of the supporters. There are many success stories. I already mentioned the book. I'd like to mention the fact that today in Jerusalem, in the Museum Row in Jerusalem. There's a new Albert Einstein Museum and Visitor Center being built. We already managed to get a $2 million commitment from a major philanthropist in the United States for this endeavor. I can tell you that this will be perhaps the #1 tourism attraction in Israel, because it will feature Albert Einstein's archive, including the original manuscript of the theory of relativity with his handwritten notes, and as well as his study. I mentioned the Charney Foundation's support of the Bereshit space mission. Thanks to the efforts of the Charney Foundation, we were able to land an archive of knowledge time capsule payload on the moon. Other success stories: the next Einstein competition touching 36 nations, collaboration with the European Space Agency, the creation of the animal sanctuary in Africa, thanks to a very generous donation of our dear friend Janet Jansen, who's on the call right now. I believe this went through the wonderful organization founded by Jen Creamer. The ICANN, a collaboration with former Hebrew University and Harvard University professor Amir Ahmedi, receiving right now funding for a prototype that will enable blind people to actually imagine and envision what they're seeing through sound. Building on our success, as I mentioned before, we did produce the 3D book, which is a masterpiece, and now we're in the process of offering a 2D version of the book. And I can tell you that as one of the founders, the co-founders of the organization, I'm very happy to purchase one of them. Again, the partnership with the Animal Defenders International, Jen Creamer, who's one of their visionaries, requires a campaign of $1 million. The impact will be revolutionizing animal care while preserving livestock in the surrounding farming communities. Another project that we are working with right now is the prevention of preventable blindness in Asia and Africa, thanks to the initiative of Sanduk Pruitt and Jeff Tabin of Stanford University. And again, in partnership with the Hebrew University, we're building the Albert Einstein Museum. One of our newer initiatives, which I would like to discuss now with its founder, is the partnership with Minds to Vines, which is a project of Roots of Peace, an organization founded by my dear friend Heidi Kuhn. And we're very, very happy to host Heidi Kuhn here. The idea is very simple. Heidi Kuhn came up with this idea many, many years ago to remove mines from minefields and rehabilitate and redeem the land, if you may, turn it into a productive agricultural land. She's been active all over the world, even here in Israel. That's how I met her in 2009 when she came to the Jordan Rift Valley and helped us to turn a minefield into a beautiful agricultural farming land. And now she's doing the same thing in Vietnam after successfully doing it in Afghanistan. And I'm very, very happy to host my very dear friend Heidi Kuhn, who's with us today from the Bay Area. Heidi, can you hear me? You have to unmute yourself.
Yes, I can. Thank you so much, Ambassador.
Thank you for being with us. Heidi, please tell us a little bit, where do you see the collaboration between your amazing organization that was able to raise tens of millions of dollars to date to really convert minefields into productive land? How do you see the collaboration with Genius 100?
Well, Ambassador, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. I've met you, of course, when you were the distinguished Consul General to New York. And the vision of Minds to Vines began on September 21st, 1997, shortly after the tragic death of the late Princess Diana. And the world learned that we live in a world today where there's an estimated 60 million landmines silently poised in 60 countries. And we think of the challenges of COVID-19. These are global citizens that have to shelter in place every single day for fear of having their child kick a soccer ball out of bounds or chase a butterfly across a field and lose a life or limb to a landmine. So the collaboration with Genius 100 be really taking advantage during this upcoming harvest of hope. Again, peace began on September 21st, and that date now also coincides with the United Nations International Day of Peace and the first day of fall. And I think it would be so fitting to finish this year in a collaboration between Roots of Peace and Genius 100 to target one area of the world, to eradicate these seeds of terror that hold the land hostage for future generations, and further plant the roots of peace. As we discussed, Ambassador, and your wonderful colleague and co-founder on the line, my suggestion would be to possibly focus on Vietnam. This year marks the 45th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War, yet millions of unexploded ordnance remain buried in the ground as a legacy of war. And I think we could use the genius of the world to take something as simple as a landmine, to remove the landmines of Quang Tri province, the former DMZ, and to plant the beautiful black pepper vines. The best black pepper in the world, of course, comes from Vietnam, and to heal the wounds of war, giving the world a taste of peace would be a wonderful campaign to begin on September 21st. And I hope with the Genius team on the line, we could use the form of art and music. Many of you may remember a wonderful band from my day. Vietnam War was raging. It was called Earth, Wind, and Fire. And if you go back and play it, it's about the 21st night of September. So I would love to work with all of you and really launch this very simple genius idea of turning minds to vines. Begin it in Vietnam, and ultimately in partnership, roll it out worldwide. We deserve our children to live in a world without landmines.
Thank you, Heidi, for sharing this very exciting project with us. Speaking about music, you should know that in our community, there's a very strong artistic component. I already mentioned award-winning composer Shuki Levy, who composed a special song for us, but we also have with us a visionary maestro Eduardo Marturet of the Miami Symphony. We have with us David Milch, who is a producer of movies and theater, who produced recently the most magnificent artistic collection about the Holocaust, which I would be happy to share with all of you later on. Chris Reese and Jordan Harold are from a company called Impact Culture. They participated in one of our events, and following that experience, they decided to dive deep into the DNA of our community because it's so unique, it's so special. And they spent days studying thoroughly the DNA of Genius 100, and I'm very, very happy that both of them are with us on this call. And I just would like to present a question to you, Chris and Jordan. Tell us, what was the bottom line of your exploration? What is the DNA of Genius 100, and what really drew you to the organization?
Okay, so let me start.
Okay, hey Ido, thanks for having us today. As Ido just said, we got to go to the conference in Cabo in February of this year on the eve of COVID-19, and one of the things about G100, we actually could not believe the people that we met, people that really wanted to make change in the world. And we go to a lot of conferences, and this was something really different and really unique. And we actually left that conference changed forever and really, really activated around, what we wanted to create in the world, the change we wanted, with all kinds of new partnerships that we could have never imagined out of that conference. And so when COVID-19 happened and the world changed forever, at the time, Julie, was talking to Ido and Manette and Rami, and they were rethinking culture and identity. And I think one of the biggest things we saw underneath G100 is that caring, is that deep caring for change in the world, and that deep DNA of making people feel included in a community, no matter where you come from. you know, whether you're a neuroscientist to someone who really believes in the well-being of animals, you know, there's something to be learned throughout all of these conversations, and they're so special and unique. And I think that's what's missing in the world is we, you know, constantly are in our own silos. And what we loved about G100 and what we found in the DNA was that ability to create a community and break those silos down for deeper and more experiential, change-based conversations. So I would say in terms of the DNA, that was one of the biggest things that we found in looking at the organization, and we were so honored to be able to help.
Yeah, in fact, when we were at Los Cabos, some of the folks on the call who were there will remember that we had this interesting observation that you know, it was Einstein who said no problem can be solved from the consciousness that created it. And our observation was that as a community, we're actually creating a new level of consciousness to solve problems in new ways. And when we did the work of interviewing members of the community and diving deep, as Chris said, what we discovered was that it was really our caring as a community that creates our connection. And if you think about it, it's interesting for a community to care not just about itself, but about other people in the world. And if I think about what the greatest impact is that Genius can make, you know, at this moment in time, it's really helping the community share knowledge, form partnerships, and fund initiatives that really bring greater balanced opportunities to the world we all share. Right now, we are moving through an unprecedented moment in time and creating imbalance. And I think as a community, coming together to create balanced opportunities in the world is really a huge opportunity for impact.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your inspiring words. Laurie Metrick is one of the most celebrated designers and producers in Canada. He's based in Toronto, and he's been with Genius 100 from day one. I'm very, very happy to have him with us on this call today. And I would like to ask him, as someone who's been there from day one, Laurie, how do you see the trajectory of the organization? You were there, you looked at everything, you produced many of the content pieces that we all disseminated. How do you see the trajectory? How do you see the progress?
Well, if we go back 5 years ago, the way we got hired was kind of unique in that it was a breakfast I went to. I didn't know what I was doing. I met a lovely man who asked me my opinion at the end of a breakfast for a way to raise a little bit of more money. I gave a contrary answer to what I was shown. And then 3 months later, someone called and said, hey, do you want to help us work on the Albert Einstein Foundation for Hebrew University? I went back, told my staff, whose average age is 26. Frankly, they thought this happened every day. You know, I sort of waited my entire life for this, but it happened every day. What was cool about it was Rami gave us a napkin and said, look, this is kind of how I think of it. And what we did was looked at the napkin, which had these great ideas, and all we had to do was execute. The success that collectively we've all had has been amazing since the beginning of this. I mean, it did an unbelievable job, you know, with the university, which is still a part of this, and then, you know, and Albert Einstein. And it's pivoted in a lovely way to Genius 100, but it's doing really good things. I mean, whether it's Minds to Vines or the Cataract Project, all of these things are amazing. And the impetus from this comes from the 100 visionaries that we have and their causes. Rarely do you get a chance to do good things, which is what we're able to do now, but it grows all the time. So I see the trajectory as being much bigger and better as we go along.
And where would you like to see the organization in a couple of years?
Oh, God, tough question. I always think of objective. You know, our objective is probably to raise a tremendous amount of money so that we're able to invest in every program that we want. Where do I see it? Probably 1,000 international people that are working on this, like the people on this call, but expanded to be about 1,000 people worldwide. And I see it being now remember, this is just me, I see it like being a huge family office for investment for good. But that's just my view.
And I think you're right, because technology and especially COVID-19 actually presents an opportunity for us, because look at us right now. We're 80 people gathering from all over the world in one Zoom call. If we had to do it in pre-COVID-19 world, this would have cost us a lot of money. So there is an opportunity, and the technological barriers are actually being lowered daily. Thank you so much, Lori, for your insight and your contribution. Thank you so much, Chris and Jordan, for your insight and contribution. I think this is the time to hear a little bit from the engine that drives this whole effort. My dear friend, Rami Kleinman, who really took this idea to an unimaginable level with great tenacity, with great energy, with great creativity, with great dedication. Rami, please share with us a little bit about your plans for the future. We've heard the amazing accomplishments of the last 5 years with very little money, with practically very little staff. You were able to achieve so many things. What's next?
Thank you so much, Ido. Thank you, Monette. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, all of you, because I'm looking and I'm flipping the pages, and I see incredible people that's been with us really a long way. I see Larry Namer on the call as well. That's from Los Angeles, and that's we met right in the beginning. I see Maurice from Australia join us. Really, it's incredible to see all the people, Tzili and Shuki and Tori and everybody. I think it's everybody plan. It's not something that it's up to me. I was teaching last week a course, the annual course. Every year I teach a course at the Hebrew University for non-for-profit management and a graduate. It's a graduate degree, and Lori was there with me also lending his skill. And I heard a beautiful story from one of the students. And I'm excited every year to go to teach, because I learn, it's a fair deal. I learn a lot from the student as well. And one of the students talked about King Solomon, and she said that King Solomon, known to be the smartest person of all time in the universe, but he was not born like that. He was born like an ordinary person, but they say that everybody get a chance to ask God for something. And when God asked King Solomon, what do you want? You want wealth, you want power, you want property, you want women, you want whatever you want, you're going to get. And King Solomon asked for one thing. He asked for wisdom. And God gave him wisdom. And on top of the wisdom, he gave him everything he did not ask for. Well, if I don't remember asking anything, but if I had a chance to ask, I will ask to do good in the world. And wisdom, I think, is something that we can today, in the era of technology and a large community, we can accumulate. And that's what genius. We created, the whole is bigger than its part. And today, what are we going to do? We're going to try to use the collective wisdom that we have in order to leverage and to support project that makes sense, project that can, make a huge impact, project that's also will stretch the human ability. And together with our partners, we will try and bring the missing parts that a lot of organizations and projects in the world that trying to do good, that trying to accomplish something, that trying to create an impact in life, and they're missing one or two things. And our job is to enhance, is to support them, is to try to bring them anything that we can. And the 4 project that's we're looking right now and working is to continue to work with our good friends and visionaries, Sanduk and Jeff. Just before COVID, we met, and David Milch was there, trying to create the support. So we are going to pick it up, and we're talking to them to try to generate to them the type of support they needed. And we need to remember that yes, COVID is here, but we need to continue with our life. We need to look at the challenge as not only as an opportunity, but also the challenge is pushing us hard to try and to do better. And there is a huge urgency that we completely sometimes ignore because our mind is completely focused on COVID, but there is so many people that with a simple operation can see, and it's up to us to do it. It's up to us to come up with the funds and to provide the support for them to do it. Can you imagine, we're talking about social distancing. You know, a blind person cannot measure, not 6 feet, not 2 meters, nothing. A blind person is in the dark all their life. And if we can help them becoming a positive member and contributing member of society is great. Minds to Vine, we forgot that what we experience as what we take for granted, that we open the door and we walk anywhere we want in life. It's not the reality in other places. What we really, really love about Minds to Vine and Roots of Peace is the model of creating a sustainable agriculture model on a land that was useless, not only useless, but was very, very dangerous. That simple death, that simple conflict, that it cannot be a playground. And I think that it's bringing it's showing the challenge, but it's bringing the solution. And that's where we're going to focus. We're going to focus on projects and an organization that know how to describe the challenge, but also offer a solution. Because, you know, in today's world, especially a lot of media and governments and different organizations are incredibly good in describing a problem, but they're not offering a solution. So we want to be part of the solution. We want to focus and partner together with our community members, the visionaries, the founders, all of you that's here. And to come up with really good ideas, good project, and to try and make it happen for you. To try
Thank you so much,
really
Rami.
deliver the impact.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for mentioning these two projects. And just to continue, you spoke about the importance of telling the story. We have a wonderful filmmaker with us who is putting together one of the most important projects that we're all going to enjoy from and benefit of, and that's Daniel Ferguson. Daniel Ferguson is an actor, he's a filmmaker. He specializes in a very specific type of films, IMAX movies. An IMAX movie has a shelf life of tens of years if it's a good movie, and his project is titled Einstein's Incredible Universe. And I'm very, very happy to host Daniel Ferguson with us. Daniel, if you can share with us a little bit about your project and your involvement with the G100 community. I can just mention that he was the incredible MC of our Dinner of the Century in 2017 in Montreal. Daniel, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Ambassador. It's a pleasure to see so many familiar faces. And I thank you for offering me the opportunity to speak a little bit about our vision and the goal. I couldn't agree more that this community is so multidisciplinary. It is thrilling to see. It is the Einstein for us is a sort of enigma, and he's an emblem of this mode of thinking, this extremely creative mode of thinking that I think so many people on this call and in this community embody, which is to take seemingly disparate ideas and smash them together in a way that does good. And that's the essence of what so many people have said. The IMAX film that is underway and was filming in 2017, we had 26 cameras filming the total solar eclipse in August of 17, and we captured some of the most sublime footage I've ever seen. I can't wait to show it with you. This is a film about Einstein's legacy, both in the imagination of young people today, but in astrophysicists. And what does Einstein mean here in the 21st century for all of us? What does he mean as a symbol, as a man, as a child? What was it about Einstein's creativity and imagination that fires our imagination 100 years plus later? And I think the legacy is vast and far-reaching. In the span of a film that can inspire young people and play in some of the most prestigious museums in the world today, it is our goal to create a film that shatters expectations, that introduces the audience, a new generation, to Einstein in an absolutely thrilling and visceral and experiential way, so that you, the audience, get to become Einstein. You get to understand that you have this vast laboratory in your mind, and that through that you can accomplish things that are seemingly or told to you are impossible. And I think that universality of the appeal of Einstein, whether it's in the field of astrophysics or whether it's in other fields, humanitarian fields, is part of the universal appeal. So this is a film that's ongoing. We hope very much to even expand on the reach of our previous collaboration together with the Hebrew University, the Canadian Friends. That was Jerusalem, that IMAX film, which continues to play in IMAX theaters, has been seen by anywhere from 5 to 7 million people. And the film is still, as I said, still going. And that's what's really unique about these films, is they last for so long. This is a film that came out in 2013 and is still very much active in the marketplace and is still very much inspiring people. So we want to make, what we'd consider or perhaps the definitive film about Einstein and his legacy and his meaning in the 21st century in a way that's not only accessible, but is absolutely inspirational to people all over the world.
Daniel, what are your immediate needs?
Well, we are basically halfway through our funding. So this is like Jerusalem. It's an $8 million project, which seems like a lot of money, but that is generally what is needed to fund a 3D immersive picture that lasts for a long period of time. And we're about halfway through that. So we had enough resources to begin. We have a script. We have a lot of footage to date, but we're also covering things like gravitational waves, black holes, and the essential impulse of creativity. Where does that spark begin? So we've been following a lot of storylines, and obviously in the period of COVID, production is very much shut down, but this is an opportunity for us to go back to basics, to go back to development, go back to fundraising, and then reemerge even stronger and make sure that this film is exactly delivering on its promises. So our needs are financial, our needs are somewhat creative. We'd love people to become part of our advisory board, make sure that the film reaches the audience that it can, it lives up to its potential. But in terms of fundraising needs, we'd love some assistance getting to the finish line and making sure that we can deliver this film.
Thank you, Daniel. I think that your project will do a great deal to make the legacy of Albert Einstein accessible, especially to children and youth, but not only, and inspire them. At this point, I would like to turn this over to my dear friend and our fearless leader, Manette Malevsky, who is with us from Montreal. Manette, please.
Thank you, Ido. And as always, Ido, you have a way of encouraging people to be, as Daniel just said, like Einstein, imaginative, creative, and putting all their energy together. You've got everybody in this call excited about so many projects. And Rami, of course, you're a great help to him as well. And Danielle, it's been a pleasure to see you again. And I remember the great time we've had together. So I think that all of you at this point have heard quite a bit about what we're doing and the partnerships that we're trying to create, which is much bigger than individuals. I think as partners and as Genius, we can work together with Danielle, with Heidi, with the doctors for all the projects that we have in place, and we can do a lot more than we imagine each one can do individually. So you've heard them all, and like Danielle, I'm inviting you all to really participate in Genius. We're also creating an advisory board that will help us with business strategies, with policies, with promoting awareness of who we are, also assisting in fundraising, much as like Danielle, and simply associating yourself just by being a part of who we are. One of the things that we are very proud of, and we didn't have a chance to, a lot of people saw the 3D book. You'll have a chance to see it at another time, but through the 3D book, which is really a piece of art. It's a digital, today in the world, it's digital art. It's a beautiful piece of book made out of plastic. And as I'm fortunate enough to tell you that I have the #1 out of the 200 books. And as somebody in the kitchen, I thought I would get the last one. So I'm very fortunate to have it in my house. And I've had a lot of people come, but it's very hard to read because it's really a piece of art. So through Julie, we were able to produce a 2D Genius 100 book that's ready to be sold and purchased. And I thought that that Helen, if you would just show the little video of what our 2D book looks like, which really has all of what the visionaries wrote, but a little more to it. So if you can show the video, that would be great.
On the centennial of Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity, the Genius 100 community set out to capture the visions of thought leaders from across the globe as they shared their perspective on the next century. Genius 100 Visions of the Future has since become a publishing milestone, representing the world's first 3D printed book while capturing the imagination of intellects and global citizens alike. Now, for the first time ever, these inspirational writings have been made available. While the 3D book is currently in production and will have limited availability, a 2D version is being created to make its astounding content accessible to everyone. Their message is timely, a glimpse into the future that may be uncertain today, but is filled with hope for tomorrow. You now have the rare opportunity to make this thought-provoking book part of your private collection. Don't delay. Limited copies are in production. Claim yours by emailing info@genius100visions.com.
Thank you, Helen. So we do have it in production and it's done. It's just being binded and ready to go. So we're very excited about it. And also, I want to let you know, as we look ahead, we're going to be selecting the next cohort of visionaries. So we're going to have a jury made up of visionaries, founders, and hopefully some of you as community members. And so if you're interested in participating in that or recommending names, that would be great. Before I close, I know that there was time for questions. It went a lot faster. We have a lot less time, but I would love to open it up for questions. And I believe that, Helen, you have them in the chat line. So if you could just ask the person who has put a question forward and we could answer them.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to raise their hand or just, put a little note that you're ready to ask a question, that would be great. We're ready to do so. It looks like we've covered everything.
No, we have a question.
We have somebody here. Michael, I think.
Thank you. My name is Michael Smolens. I'm in New York. Thank you, whomever invited me to this event. It's great. And what I'm involved with is language enabling at scale. The fact that there's 7.6 billion people in the world that speak 6,800 languages, and very little of the knowledge that's created in video is available in all of the world's languages, so people can really truly understand it. And so what we're doing is we are providing technology either through AI or through professional translators or through the crowd, like the TED Open Translation program was done with our platform. And I'd love to work with this group to help enable storytelling that is being created from the group to be collaboratively available in all of the languages in the world, so that what you're creating can be very global. And because of what I'm doing, I was also honored a month ago to be invited to the Gandhi Mandela King Foundation in collaboration with Stanford to work on the Black Lives Matter movement and the racial inequality movement. So we are getting very involved with doing things that have global impact so that everyone can be aware of them. So I would love to be involved with what you're doing and help in whatever way we can to language enable at scale the stories that you are going to be telling and have told.
So thank you so much, Michael, for that. And we will definitely, we have your coordinates and we will get in touch with you for sure. And look, see what we can do, because what I think Ido said and everybody said, this is a place where we have a curating of great people that together want to make changes, and we do better together as partners. So I thank you for that. Any other questions? No, nobody? Okay, Helen, you have nobody? No. So what I want is to make sure that you contact us, but we're going to make sure that we contact you, each one of you, to have a very deeper conversation. I'd like to thank Jennifer and Helen and Ido and Rami and all the others for the time you took. And I do know that together we can build a community that cares about each other and creates balanced opportunities in the world that we all share. So I thank you all for being a part of this, and I look forward to spending a lot of other minutes with you. And we're right, digital marketing is a way, and a digital way of discussing that we have so many more people from all over the world with us. And we look forward to working together in the future. So thank you very much, everybody, and have a great day.
Excuse me, can anyone hear me? This is Denise from Make-A-Wish Foundation in Israel. I'm the CEO and founder.
We can hear
Hello,
you.
everyone. Hi. I raised my hand, but I guess
sorry,
nobody
I didn't
saw.
see it. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm a very good friend of Ido's, and I've never heard of Genius 100. I'm blown away by this conversation. We are a global organization in 50 countries around the world and 65 chapters in the United States.
And in
the Make-A-Wish
Montreal.
Foundation. Yes, and in Montreal. And I brought the foundation to Israel 25 years ago. I think that there's incredible things that can be done and stories that can be told about the wishes that are done that surpass all boundaries and borders. And that's what I love about the work that I do, that it could be a Muslim or a Baha'i or a Christian or a Jewish mother in the hospital praying for their child to be well, and everyone, it's the ideal world while people are fighting for land. And just great stories. I would be delighted to be involved in any way possible. I've been on the international board of Make-A-Wish International, and just be delighted to hear more if you'd like to get me involved.
Thank you so much for
With
speaking.
pleasure.
Am I leaving anybody out? No.
Just Monette, to mention that everyone will receive. We're going to send all of you a copy of the presentation with the link for the movie, and there is two videos on that that you can see them. I know sometimes technology can be a little challenging, but we're going to send you with enhanced presentation that you can in your own free time see it. I also would like to acknowledge and to say that Rabbi Artur Schneier was on the line with us, and we're honored that you joined us. Thank you so much, and thank you, Monette.
Thank you all. A pleasure, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Wherever you are, have a great rest of the day, and we'll be all speaking to each other soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Bye-bye.